This is an episode with Saurabh, and we had such a great time talking about spirituality, yoga, life in Barcelona, saints in India, diet, how to live a healthy life, and most importantly, what is it like to be a foreigner living in a strange land. And we had so much fun talking, and I trust that you will also enjoy this as much as we do. And I hereby dedicate this episode to my family, to Nim Karoli Baba, and most importantly, to you.
If you like something and you eat it in moderation, it's quite good. It's always good. Like I don't eat like 10 cheesecakes like at once, or maybe one or two, yes, definitely, and then it's okay. But I make sure like I eat. So there's this concept that I've always followed. It's like 33% of food, 33% of water, and 33% of air. So that's how it's supposed to be. So I always make sure like I keep drinking like one glass of water like every hour, even if, or even one sip or two sips. Like I can go without drinking water for a long time, but I just make sure like I just drink one or two sips as well, even if I don't drink one full glass. And I don't drink water when I'm eating. So that's one thing I've always also followed, because I think it's come from my childhood. Like in India, usually we don't keep a glass of water next to us like in to drink, or like usually, and we just eat most of it, and then in the end we eat like yogurt rice to cool down the spices or like the extra mixtures of whatever you have eaten, because it's like yogurt is like, or curd is more like cooling product for your intestines and your acid, like the acid in the intestines, which actually digests the food. So like that concept of 33%, where even with the food, I've always been a vegetarian like my whole life.
Wow.
I just eat eggs.
Right. So you pretty much never really had like beef or fish?
There was a brief time I actually tried, like a few years only, like very little, but
how did you like it? What was
I
it
actually
like?
liked it, but after a while, like it was very brief, like maybe 3 years or like 4 years maximum, like when I was in college and then uni, like even just before uni I stopped. I like that's because I got into more focused into yoga and spirituality, and I've always been a person where like I don't like cruelty to animals, or like just letting them be how they are, and instead of like the food that I've always had, even when I was in India, was veggies or lentils, rice, flour, like for chapati, rotis. Even here now in Barcelona, I eat like lentils, dal, what I cook like back at home sometimes. And the mornings have been very like fixed. I eat granola, and I've loved it, like oats, walnuts, almonds, with some fruit and like yogurt and honey. So yeah, that's been a constant like for like almost 9 months since I've lived here in Barcelona.
You put them together, or do you do some people, and it's quite popular, like the overnight
oats?
You do that sometimes, or
most days is in the pan. You just a little bit of oil, like fry the oats, like just a little toast them a little bit, Add the walnuts, add the nuts, almonds, and maybe a few pumpkin seeds or sunflower seeds. And then just a little bit of honey in the pan, and then a little roast, and then put it in the bowl with some pear, bananas, or like strawberries, berries, and yogurt and honey again. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like been
Sounds
the
amazing.
yeah. I mean, my girlfriend taught it to me. I'd never known. I mean, she also discovered this like very recently, like maybe 2 years ago or something, like this specific type of
Breakfast.
yeah. And it's actually so filling, and we don't need to eat anything like for the next 3 hours, because they're like so much of nuts.
Absolutely.
Like oats, you have fruit, you have yogurt, like all the protein. Yeah, and for lunch, like beans, chickpeas, chickpea pancakes, kidney beans, butter beans, like lentils.
Like
no,
like
different.
okay.
No, all different ones. Like different, like
Yeah.
so we follow a recipe book, like a couple of recipe books,
Nice.
which are like, it's called like India Express, and the Green Tin or Green Book, something like that. And they're more of vegetarian dishes, which are rich in like fiber or protein, or like sometimes they're like easy, convenient dinners or like lunches, like but everything is always in moderation. I've always believed that. Even in when we were like learning as in the yoga teacher training, like our teachers, like our masters, they used to say, so it's samana. In it's this mudra is called samana mudra. All the 5 fingers, tips coming together. So that's why Indians, we eat in all like with the food.
True.
So the 5 elements, they come together when we are touching the food and taking the food, like how you said, you are what you eat. So all the 5 elements touching together, like when you eat. So samana, it's means equal or moderate, balanced. Samana. It's so beautiful that like these ancient words, like these words like mean so much. And it's coming out now and like reaching like so many other people, and I'm just like so glad and happy, and like it's just like I'm just so grateful that like most people are now getting to know about these things, and like starting to maybe understand, even if they don't believe or have a sense of what it actually means. But the perspective of that there is this kind of knowledge, or there is this kind of information or wisdom, like which has been passed on for like so many
millennials.
Like I don't know how many years, but yeah. So it's very I just try to keep myself as humble as possible, and like share or speak or just connect.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Before getting to that, you just mentioned that 33% of air. What does that mean?
So for example, when you're eating, like you are having food, we chew most of the times, like, and we don't chew a lot, but because sometimes like in this modern life, like we don't have so much time, and we don't give ourselves that moment to chew properly. So when then when the food is not actually chewed properly, it goes in and it's in the stomach. They are in like a lot larger quantity, right? So they take more space in the stomach. But when you chew and it comes as a smaller particles in the stomach, um, they take less space in the stomach. So there is like space between those particles which are filled by air, like because or water. You don't you, and you understand, if you're like half full or like 3/4 full, you stop eating.
Right.
That is
Yeah, because there is like there are times that I feel that when myself and maybe some of the listeners or audience out there that we're so in a rush from one thing to another, and then we didn't get to chew properly or have enough time, and then there's this even larger of disconnection between our mind of, oh, I'm still hungry because you're eating so fast.
Yes.
And then maybe in a couple minutes you realize you're full, but you're actually super full, or you actually overate.
Yeah.
And then that's one thing, is that two things. One is that eating very fast in a rush, and another thing is that because it wasn't chewing properly.
Yes.
And
yes.
then okay.
Yeah. Like you said, it's it's the particles that determine how full you are. Like when chewing, we don't have that time, so we chew as much as possible and swallow it, and we don't know how much food we have actually taken inside us, and we tend to feel that we are not full, and we just eat more and more because those particles, they take a longer time to digest, and they take a longer time to make you feel that you have eaten. But if you're chewing properly and you're taking that time to process the chewing as well, it helps to understand, oh, okay, I've eaten so much. Like you've eaten for a little more longer time. That means it's kind of a paradox where you feel, if you eat fast, you need to eat more, like you're not eaten enough. But but after a while, as you said, like you may feel full, but you don't know that you have eaten so much. You've overeaten. But when you're eating a little slower, and if you're eating, like chewing, more number of times, it takes you longer for you to finish the food. So you will, the mind, it's like deceiving the mind, actually, that you have eaten for this much time, and you have eaten this much, this amount, and it's in the body, in the stomach, so it's all good. So
Yeah. So even when you eat your favorite dessert or cheesecake, you still try to eat it a little bit slowly.
yeah, I've
Yeah. Even
as a
cheesecake,
person,
even cheesecake.
or anything.
Personally, I'm totally guilty when I go to just like a proper Indian restaurant. When the mango lassi get on the table,
Demolish.
exactly, it's like, and then half of them is gone.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there are some things that maybe when you're too hungry, and you have left for a long time, and you go and you eat. Definitely you eat some of it. Like I also personally eat some of it like quite fast and like quick. But then I make sure, like after I've eaten a little bit of it, and then like I've settled down, and like I don't feel so hungry, I slow down the rest of the part. It's not like I need to finish the whole thing in a rush.
Right.
Yeah. I take 20 minutes to eat every day most of the time.
Okay. Yeah, that's That's it.
I used to take a little longer earlier,
Right.
but because I choose so slowly and I choose so many times, and I just enjoy that. So, like now, because of maybe life, like things to do, like growing up, and like admin stuff, like work stuff, like reading or like going around. So it has shortened a little bit as well. Like, but like around 15-20 minutes. Yeah, I would spend. Yes.
I'm one of those people that are guilty that I will eat in like 5 minutes, 3 sometimes even.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my girlfriend's like that. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but she doesn't eat it super fast.
You all don't eat together?
Yeah, we do it together.
Even eating together, she's like...
Yeah. She's like finished, and she's just waiting for me to finish, and we chat and.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you eat more or less around
Same
the same
quantity.
the same time? Do you also...
Yeah. I think we do.
How about when you're like hungry? But maybe sometimes like it's not the lunch or dinner time yet, but you're hungry. Then you do a snack or...
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
What's your favorite snack?
Oh. I love dates.
Oh. Right.
Yeah, dates are, yeah. I mean, sometimes I just forget to bring them, but when I don't have them, maybe like bread with peanut butter.
Okay, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Have you tried this? Dark chocolate dipped into peanut butter.
Yeah.
And
My
then with
girlfriend
dates.
loves that.
And
My
with
girlfriend
dates.
loves that. Yeah.
It's like this sophisticated, romantic sugar and protein bomb within your mouth, and it's like, when people show me that, I was like, unbelievable.
You can cut the date like into half.
Yeah.
Put the peanut butter in, and then put like a slice of dark chocolate inside also. Like it's just like a like a, I don't know, like
snack, sugar sandwich.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to know about this in Goa when she made it like in 2 years ago. So yeah, I didn't know about this. I used to just eat the dates like as it is.
Yeah. And also in Spain they have very good dates.
Dates, yes. Yeah.
Sometimes a bit too
really
sweet
nice
for me in some places, but yeah.
No, I love them.
Right.
Yeah.
So some people I met in the studio, I told them that I'm doing this podcast with you, and we're going to demystify a few things. Well, number one, teach us how to properly, excuse us, please teach us how to properly pronounce your name.
Yes, okay. It's Saurabh. Saurabh. It's Saurabh. Like you saw somebody, and then Rab. Saurabh.
Oh, Saurabh.
Yeah, but that's the easiest version to say. But my actual name is called Saurabh. Saurabh, which means sweet fragrance in my language, in Kannada, in Karnataka. Saurabha, in Sanskrit also is like, or Kannada, it's Saurabha means sweet fragrance. But it has another meaning as well in maybe northern India, like it's Saurabh. Saw is 100 in Hindi. Saw, the number 100. And the second part, Rab, is like wishes or like dua, like wishes or blessings, like 100 blessings or 100 wishes. But being from the southern part of India and like from Karnataka, this means Saurabha is sweet fragrance.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's easier to pronounce Saurabh. Like Saurabh. Thank you.
Yeah, beautiful name.
Yeah, thank
Beautiful
you.
name. I could see that in the future that you will release your own unique fragrance line and
Wow.
yeah. We
I'd
do
never had that idea. Okay, cool.
we do clothes. We could work on that together.
Yeah,
Actually,
sure.
fashion and
Yeah.
fragrance line. Because sidebar a little bit, it kind of blows my mind that in the yoga space, obviously we're mindful about our body. We're also more and more mindful. Just we means human being in general, or people, that we're also more and more mindful about our diet as well. However, it seems like what we are wearing, right? Because of when we see in the studio that people, both men and women, and maybe a little bit more particular women, they wear this yoga outfits that their leggings made out of like essentially polyester, which is essentially plastic, and then it doesn't, that's a common or the settings,
Standard.
yeah, the standards, right? But why don't we wear something like more conscious, being made, being produced, like local material, right? Like
Cotton.
yeah, exactly, cotton, wool, something
Wool,
like
yeah.
that, right? Linen, maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe even hemp, right?
No,
And things like that.
earlier days in ancient times, yes, definitely. Like all the people who used to practice, they or like started practicing yoga asana, they used to wear those white usually, like the white cotton or like linen kind of baggy, not baggy, but like
Right.
free and loose
Right.
trousers and like free and loose white like half
Yeah.
like shirts. Like they're not like my mum's dad, my grandfather. He used to practice yoga every single day, and like my mum, I didn't see him much. I didn't actually see him because he passed away before I was born.
Sorry to hear that.
No, but he, like my mom used to say that he used to practice every day, and he used to wear this white and white and like free, and like he used to practice outside or like in the roof or like the courtyard of the house, and it used to look like so, energetical and like divine and peaceful to even see him practice. Even now, like in India, some people, they still do wear the same like white and
Right.
white. But yeah, like modern world, it's I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I also like wear these, from Decathlon, like comfortable polyester. Um, but yeah, I have so like um, other trousers which are actually just made of linen or cotton. They're from a brand in India called Kshama. It's they're made out of like sustainable products,
Right.
organic products.
Right.
Like I think this is it's like a sister brand of this a company called Core Asana. I don't know if you have heard, but
No,
they
sure.
have the mats, yoga mats, and they have the what's the new one which where they have like the spiky for the back. They do the
Right, like it's like people walk on it, or like
or they can just lie down on it,
lay
like
down on
with
it.
the neck and stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I know what you're
they
talking
do.
about.
Yeah,
We'll drop a picture here.
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
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 So yeah, that's one of the brands that I like, where and um, they're very free and loose and like very different to modern polyester, like even t-shirts or
Right.
even trousers. Like like they're not like gym trousers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love to wear them and like practice, or even for normal daily wear as well.
Yeah.
I love them. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
Yeah, it's
those sustainable materials are super important. Also, I'm like I'm curious because I never wear those polyester leggings ever in my life, and I'm wondering why it's so huge in the culture besides like social media, right? I'm wondering, are they really that comfortable if you know when men and particularly women wear them like all day? I remember in Los Angeles, 2015, even till now, maybe around like at least 10 years, or even probably before that. During the day, a lot of the girls, they when they go out, go to the beach or walking around shopping, they wear like whatever they're wearing, but they always wear like leggings.
Yeah.
And yeah, but yeah, just something that has been on my mind
Yeah, it's become popular in
over the world.
all over the world.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
even in India.
Really?
Yeah. Like many people, yes, they still do practice in like leggings, and I mean, maybe it is very comfortable. I mean, I have not felt comfortable. I have tried like wearing leggings or like the tight fit
Yeah. Yeah.
stretchable ones, like
Right.
even when you wear for like cycling or
Yeah,
other.
we're playing basketball. Like,
Yeah,
under
yeah.
a lot of basketball players, and it's like they wear the basketball shorts, and then
Yeah.
inside they wear that.
Yeah, but I have never felt comfortable with that. I have, I mean, but maybe it's getting used to it, but still,
Right.
it's very different from person to person.
I think so.
Because I used to play cricket. Like I've always been a sports person, and
Nice.
for like most of my school days, I played cricket.
Right.
And we used to wear like the skins because we used to be in the hot sun like for a long time.
Absolutely.
Like we used to wear like trousers anyway, but when we used to wear like half like sleeves,
Yeah.
we used to wear like inside the half t-shirt.
Yeah.
We used to wear like full skins, like
Yeah.
tight skins.
Yeah.
For the upper body.
Right.
But yeah, that used to be okay. Like maybe it was for like
Yeah.
a protection, so that
Yeah.
like it's a mind thing again.
Right.
Like
right.
you need it because there's like protection for you.
Right. Yeah.
But it never had like any disturbance or like a problem in like playing or performing or like
Yeah.
but it's different to practicing yoga or like practicing asana in or like in daily life as a practice, because I mean if it serves the purpose and it's comfortable for many people, it's still okay. But maybe environmentally,
Right.
yeah, it may not be the best choice.
Yeah, because all these are essentially plastic made out of.
Yeah, it's
like-
very hard to get rid of them.
Exactly, we're hard to
Yeah.
decompose, and from the other side is that these companies like Alo Yoga or Lululemon, they get recycled plastic bottles, right, and essentially go through a chemical process to dye to different colors, and then yeah, and
Okay, wow.
the olive color, the black, the pink, or maybe from one part is different color and then it's kind of changing color, like when it get to their
dual
like the
colors,
bottom,
yeah.
the dyeing process. Actually, the fashion industry causing so much pollution to the planet. However, particularly two things: one is transportation, and the other one is the coloring process. It takes a lot of material, exactly, machinery, and cause a lot of pollution as well. And yeah, I feel like coming from the east and then going to the west, I feel like perhaps maybe this is something a little bit like, at one point there has to be some kind of this is a big word, maybe a little bit like sexualization of the activity, right? Because the influencers start wearing them, then kind of see, because it's again skin tight, and then it's they see their curve and they post on social media, and a lot of younger person they see that oh, I this is a good way to kind of show off my body, and then they start wearing that until one day it's like the ripple effect and everybody starts wearing them and nobody think about this anymore, right? Because I would say 30, 40, 50 years ago, right? Like, people will be shocked if you see somebody like men or women wear like skin tight pants on outside.
Straight, yeah.
So, yeah.
No, like the youth or like people, the younger generation, it's like it's maybe like it's like they're maybe going away or like further from like the source of like the real purpose or like the real knowledge of who you are. So if that is happening, then definitely like all the external material things will start to increase, because it's like a collection of things. I mean, through phases of life, you start, buying or taking or collecting new things at different points of time or different points of life. Again, it comes to moderation, where for me as a personal choice, I have chosen to be a minimalistic. So I feel this is quite good for people, or like for me, as I like to like count how many like clothes or like t-shirts or like trousers I have in the wardrobe.
How many?
It's like 96.
Okay.
Everything included.
Oh, okay.
Everything.
Socks?
Everything.
Okay. Wow.
Everything.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I also, like, before coming to Barcelona from Bangalore, I also made a note of like how much I packed into my suitcase and brought them, and then after that, now until now, maybe whatever things I have bought for, like, because I've never been in like a winter place where I have needed a coat, so I just bought one coat.
Right.
So that's it, and maybe a couple of jumpers, like thick jumpers, because I've never been in a place where and they're more like these ones, like which are more like vintage and made. I didn't buy anything new.
Right.
I've not bought anything new, I don't know, for like the last 9-10 months, even after I've come here.
Right.
Like the real purpose of understanding who you are, like, the real self, like where you're like absolute bliss, absolute peace, and absolute love, that is always within you, and you are that. So when people start to think that, oh, okay, this product or like this trousers or like this set is going to give me happiness, or this is going to give me like full bliss, and I can show off the body, or like make the yoga movements, or anything, whatever it is, that thinking is bringing the self, like, or like the person, away from the real self, which is going towards materialism or like external influence mostly. It's not only just with like clothes, it's also with food, it's also with entertainment, it's also maybe traveling, or it can be anything else as well. External influence, where you see or where you hear like music, like, oh, I want to go to this concert. Oh, okay, next month, one more concert. Oh, I mean, I don't know, like, it can be like that, or oh, I watched this movie, or like this television, or this TV show. I mean, personally, I watch a lot of TV, yes. In between, like my classes, or but I watch like in small amount of time, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Okay. You don't finish an episode.
No, I mean, I watch like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and then I take a break. I do something else, like read a book for the next thing, or like just listen to music, or just sit. I like to just sit,
Yeah.
like not do anything, actually.
In Chinese, it's called Wu Wei.
Wu Wei.
Yes, Wu Wei means, literally translation means
Not doing.
not doing.
Mm,
And then Alan Watts, he had this.
yeah.
He talks a lot about it. He
Yeah.
said like,
Inaction.
yeah, action via inaction,
Mm,
or not forcing,
mm,
right? Because just be.
Yeah.
These two words have like 1,000 different way to describe it. The undescribable, and yeah.
What's the word called again in Chinese?
Wu Wei.
Wu Wei.
Yes, Wu means nothing. Wei means action.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then effortlessly efforts,
Mm,
maybe like that, and we're just like kind of being with connect with your saying, right? Know thyself, right? Knowing who you are, and yeah, I feel this is gonna be something that's coming up a lot during this conversation. However, I'm curious, probably audience curious as well. What's your favorite show or TV this year so far?
This year.
Yeah. Anything particularly interesting, or are you into? For example, I love comics. Like I love like the MCU. Do you know what it stands for?
No.
Oh,
MCU?
yeah, Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Okay.
Yeah, the
No.
superhero stuff.
Okay.
I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. That's interesting.
They have been doing pretty bad, kind of way too commercialized nowadays. But and I have this book there. It's not exactly about Marvel or the superhero. It's by Joseph Campbell, Hero with 1,000 Faces. And then when I was young, I really into the superhero. Later, when I moved to America and studied psychology, then I connected dots, because what I really enjoy is in the movie there is always a hero's journey.
Yeah. I've seen this YouTube talk.
Yeah.
By him. The hero's journey.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly. The main character is always nobody, like whether it's Spider-Man or maybe Peter Pan or Waldo from Lord of the Rings. Nobody, and then something happened, being called to an adventure, right? Going on this path and
like a journey.
Yeah, somebody need to protect the ring because the world is ending, right? Or somebody's coming after.
Catastrophe.
Yeah, exactly. Coming after New York City, where Spider-Man lives, and then at the beginning he denies his or her responsibility, right? He didn't believe in himself or herself, right? And then like the wise men show up, right? Which is the master or the guru in the culture of spirituality, and encourage him or her to explore more, or maybe even give him or her like some some artifacts, right? But a lot of time artifacts is symbolic, right? Maybe just like wisdom, or kind of like pointing him towards something that he's already know within himself, which is a source or the divine wisdom. And then
Direction.
yeah, exactly. And then he finally, or even Harry Potter as well, right? Like he had this invisible club, right?
And I've not seen no Harry Potter.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. That's all good. Yeah. So they have these artifacts, and then with the help of this artifact, actually, they realize their true power, and then they go on and change the world and achieve their mission, and they came back as a hero, back to where they come from, and the world is different. Everybody look upon them as a hero. And I enjoy that psychological journey so much. That's one reason, and also the special effect is pretty cool.
It's a good way to inspire and motivate.
Absolutely.
Because it's very similar to the life situations. I mean, they are like metaphors where like there's like this ending, or like there's this huge thing that's going to cause a problem, or like the world's ending, like in these things. But that's how in daily life, like a normal like an average person also maybe feels, because like each person, they have their own problems, and like they have their own life, and they have their own things to deal with. Some may feel like this problem is like so much, and it's like their world is going to end, and like they can't do anything more. But then if they have like a person, or like a companion, or if they have somebody who can, who they can turn to, like for like the spiritual guru, or like the master, or like the guide who maybe like advises them, or like maybe even like some other people as well, like not only just the guru, maybe like a friend, or like a parent, like or like a brother or sister, like where they initiate, or like they show you that, okay, I mean, you have done this, or like there's nothing to worry about, or like you use your own um, knowledge, or your own creativity, or you use your productive energy, or like your good energy for um, bringing your life, or like your shit together, or like, if there is like the problem like you want to solve, like, and it's getting too big, and you start to feel like you're doubting yourself, you start to feel fear, you start to feel frustration, you start to feel upset, sad, and these are like in daily life, like activities also, maybe when you're going to work, like you like somebody bumps into you, or like runs into you, spills a coffee on your t-shirt or something, and it's you know or it's like going like a mad day, like you may get frustrated, and like you maybe get angry at him, and then after you walk a little bit more, or you go to the elevator or something, you feel that like the elevator is not coming, like you just keep pressing the button, like you get anxious, and then you feel like you're wasting time. But nowadays I think like most of the people go to people professionally as like for more therapy. It has
Becomes a norm.
it has become
Right.
quite I mean it is really good, because it's good to share, I mean, with some people who is a listener, even if they are not advising you or suggesting you to do anything, um, because just letting it out, like just sharing it with somebody else, it helps to release the heaviness or the burden away from you. um, that is why meditation helps. And most people, if they struggle to meditate, um, it can be easier for them to share if they don't have a friend or a companion or a partner, or like a father, mother, brother, anybody else to share. It's best, or like it's good for them to share with a professional, who
In a safe environment.
in a safe environment. Yes, exactly. Where they don't feel judged, where they don't where they know that the other person is not going to say anything like irrational,
Gonna make them feel more bad or more hurts.
Yes.
By opening up and being vulnerable.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
And it when they start sharing, their meditation also becomes better, because you have less things to worry about, you have less thoughts about those things. but for some people, actually, like for me, I'm not a person who actually shares so much with anybody.
Right. Now you and your girlfriend.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of thoughts, to be honest. I'm if
You're
I'm not speaking
empty.
if I'm not speaking to you, and if we just stop, if I'm just sitting, I could sit here for like all day, like not speak, or like just seeing, or even just closing my eyes, or like just sitting. And I actually, I mean, naturally, like no thoughts really come. Like I don't really think like, okay, after I finish this, what do I do next? Or like, what did I eat for breakfast? Or like, what do I have to cook? Or like, what do I have to eat in the evening? Or like, what do I have to do tomorrow? Like, not, I mean, maybe this has gradually progressed because of the intention, or like the time that I have spent into, um, I mean, being here as of now. But uh, even in the early days, it wasn't that difficult. I was always happy to be just alone, or like being on my own. And I've always been content and satisfied with the time that I spend with myself. um, so like maybe there are like people who really don't need to share, but uh, maybe sometimes like it's not like never. So sometimes it is also good to open up, and share, and I have learned this as well, through these years. Like I started sharing a little bit with my mother, started sharing a little bit with my girlfriend, but then there are not a lot of people uh, who like I feel like I need to speak, or like say all the things about my life, or like what's happening, like and everything. So it's kind of interesting where my sister is she lives in Australia, and she's
Whereabouts?
in a town in between Melbourne and Sydney. It's called Wodonga.
Okay.
It's like she is now a counseling therapist in the university there in Wodonga. Like she has been doing the therapy, like the
For the students.
uh,
Or just
for
the professors.
no, for the families, like for the families who have like children or family members who have mental disabilities.
Okay.
Like how the families who are normal, like who have family related to them who have mental disabilities.
Right.
Like say I am a normal person and I don't have any problem. Like I just go and like you're my sister and I speak to you about my brother who has like a mental disorder, or some problem in or even physical ailment, or like anything like that. Or people who have like terminal illness kind of things, like people who deal with their parents who have terminal illness. So like she used to, I mean, she had like clients or who were there. Yeah, it's quite interesting where she was also working in one of the apps called Leora, and I did like a few yoga flows and like meditation videos for the app. So like to share it with their clients on their app, on their target audience, and how she uses like meditation and like sharing and connecting with, you know, people who uh, people who understand and who are listeners is important, because the people who are dealing with the family member who has the problem, they can speak to their brother or parent or like or like sister or like partner, and if they don't have anybody, they come to a person like in professional way. And she like now the medical science part is, you know, progressing or like inclined more towards meditation and the ancient more practices of
Back to the source.
pranayama, or back to the source. Like, because as and when you reduce your number of thoughts, your anxiety, your stress, it like reduces, and it can be done by regulation of the breath. And when you slow down the breath, your number of thoughts decreases. So for example, we have about 60,000 thoughts in a day, in 24 hours. Maybe more than that. That's like 60,000 to 80,000 is like a normal average a person, and 80,000 to 100,000 thoughts is how do I say, like a little stressed or like a little anxious
A
person.
business owner has.
Like a bit. Yes, definitely.
Yoga studio owner.
Yes.
Yeah.
And more than 100,000 is where your mental, you have some problems in and high stress levels, or like now it's more modern terms like ADHD or OCD, and like the other smaller like symptoms which affect the mental stability. So there's a very good example for this, like in yogic way, or like in the yoga philosophy. It's like a tortoise or a turtle. It inhales and exhales for inhales 30 seconds, exhales 30 seconds. So for 1 minute, per minute, it breathes one breath. It takes one breath. And it lives for about 100, 200 years. And human beings, we breathe about maybe 16 to 18, maybe like times a minute, or 20 times maybe if you're like if you're panting, or like if you're running, or like if it's, and if you slow down the number of breaths per minute, or like reduce the number of breaths per minute, maybe bring it down to 10 or bring it down to 8, your number of thoughts keeps reducing, and it can go less than 60,000, less than 50, or maybe slower in a day, in 24 hours. That is why pranayama, the breath work, or like regulation or control of the prana, the life force energy, helps or is beneficial for human beings. Yeah, that's one of the root or basic understanding or concept that I have held on to, where I have tried using or practicing it in daily life, wherever I am, whatever I am doing, however I am. I try to just be aware of the breath, and and not breathe fast. So I consciously make effort to, take a gentle deep breath in and maybe gentle deep breath out. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. He talks a lot about I am.
Yes, yes.
I always get confused that was he the saint that doesn't really speak?
Yeah, yes, yes. His silence,
Saint.
like many of the times, like, so this book that I was reading, like, I don't know, you can't, I couldn't find it like a physical copy. I've been reading it on a PDF. So this book is like a conversation of all the people who used to come to the ashram in daily life, like to meet Ramana Maharshi. And this book was written by one of the disciples who used to live with him in the ashram. And like one day, a guy he comes from, so this Ramana Maharshi is in Tiruvannamalai, like in the south of India, in Arunachala, the mountain, the peak, the hill. So the guy who comes is from like the north of India, and he comes down to south, and he has a companion with him, like, who is a foreigner, a Westerner. And the Westerner asks, what should I do in daily life to progress in spirituality, or, to find my real, like, to find my best self, like highest potential self, or something like that. Like, that was the question framed by the Westerner. And Ramana Maharshi says, nothing, just be. And so like those were the two words. And I remembered the Chinese word, like you say, Wu Wei.
Yes.
So it's very similar, like, to these teachings, like so far apart, like from like India, south of India, and like China, like so much of, distance physically, but it's very intriguing, like how they're like in different languages and they're taught in different ways, but they mean the same thing, and they go towards the same destination, or like the you can't say like the end or like the destination, but like serves the same purpose, like
Right.
but the paths are like different.
Yes.
And the Westerner is like, what? You must be crazy. Like, I didn't come all the way from like, from wherever, like America, and then I have a friend from, and he brought me all the way down here, which I didn't want to come. And Ramana Maharshi was silent, like he didn't speak after that. And the Westerner, he actually came back the next day. He stayed in the ashram for like the same full day, and then he observed like what happens in the ashram, and he observed like different people coming and asking different questions, and how Ramana Maharshi kept being silent. And then on the next day he said, I get a sense of what you are trying to show or like direct me towards, but as you said, I should just try to just be and not impersonate, or like find someone else I need to be like, or I should just be my own self, like, and just be and at my own terms and be content, or like, so he got the sense of it, he said. So it 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 uh, it was relatable to how you said that it can reach to anybody else, like the power of internet, and like the power of silence. Like they're so, I mean, it's extreme. Like you don't say anything, like silence, but in the world of internet, there's so much of things or information or in like knowledge or like that you keep taking in, and maybe something you find interesting and it sticks on to you and you start progressing towards your own self. So it's neither, or it's actually the both, like being in silence, or trying different things, experimenting different things, one after the other, one after the other, trying to find your own potential, or like what you need, or how you are, what you are, and finding meaning and purpose in what you do, or like what you are and how you are. uh, it's a lot of similar ways, like, I mean, not similar ways, but goes towards the same
Same
yeah source, yeah,
right.
like the goal,
Yes.
but like different pathways, like different channels. And yeah, that's quite interesting. It's very cool. I haven't been a lot of I haven't been so um, active on like Instagram or Facebook. I mean, a little bit, just to be I don't know.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
If and when everything unfolds exactly as it should, that you have a lot of good content to post, at least.
Yeah, yes.
And
Thank you.
thank
I'm just
you for being
grateful
here.
that, I mean, we are speaking and like talking and conversing and sharing our like different concepts, different perspectives, understanding and connecting with so many different um, ideas or concepts or subjects, and um, we bring so much potential to like different people from like in different perspectives, from different nationalities and different cultures, and maybe like there are so many similarities, like Wu Wei, or this, and also even something like mindfulness, where like Tai Chi, like in movement, and in yoga asana in movement, or even martial arts, and Kalari Payattu, which is in India. It's more like an ancient practice. It's very powerful. It's amazing.
How do you spell it?
KALARIPAYATTU. It's a big word, yeah.
Yeah. Is it similar to Kung Fu or martial arts, or?
Yes, a little bit of martial arts, because they are like, or I mean, yeah, like some sequential moves. You also use like swords, you also use like ropes and different stuff. It's quite, it's more in like southern part of India, in Kerala. It's very, um, it's still practiced in a long, from a long time, yeah. Even Westerners, like they come, they learn in Kerala, and then they go back and teach in different countries as well. So that's, and it's very close to grounding. You're barefoot, you're on actual mud and ground, and you just wear like just a trouser kind of baggy like trouser
No
kind of.
leggings.
No leggings. No, it's no. You are not supposed to. Like
Right.
it has um, a rich kind of culture tradition like of or like uh,
Really quick, now it just hits
okay.
me that when there's legging, there's no room or space for the air to flow.
Exactly.
Right? It's like,
Your muscles are like,
yeah.
or even the cells, like they don't have
Yeah.
oxygen or air to breathe.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's and why cotton or like linen helps is they're breathable. They have like pores, and they're
Absolutely.
like free, and they have like from the bottom or even like in the sides, like they have some space for the skin to breathe.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's food for them, like the skin for like oxygen is also food for them.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's not just in the food which we eat.
Right.
It's also the ambience where you are, the environment where you are, like having plants around you, having like nature or like maybe sand or rocks, like stones around. Yeah, it's and also the feel of touch of ground, like that's very important as well. Earlier in the days of yoga, like they used to not even use a mat, and yeah, and they used to just put like a cloth, or they used to, it's more, I don't know, in my language it's called chape. It's more like these they're like interwoven and they're handmade, uh,
Almost like a blanket, but not really. It's much thinner.
like just mats.
Yeah. Are they made of bamboo?
Yeah. Like they're, yeah, I think they're bamboo. Yes.
Right.
Or they can also be made. I can't.
We have that in China in the back in the days. Now people don't use that much anymore.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
in the summer when we sleep, we put them on the bed.
Yeah. It makes you. It makes it cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's but it, you know your hair might get stuck on it.
Yes.
If you're rolling and you're
Yeah. Yeah, but it brings more connection towards like the earth and like the
right.
and they're easy to repair, and then you can keep repairing them as many times as you want, so you don't have to keep buying new of those. So
Yeah.
I mean, you can't repair it by yourself, but it's repairable and it's
Right.
not that expensive. Like it's more.
They don't cost $100 for some plastic
Yeah,
yoga
true.
mat.
True. Yeah. I mean, I've had like a mat for like 6 years now, like
Right.
and I changed my mat only once after like 2 years after my practice, early in the days, like 2017, 2018, because I had just bought like a very, very local and like normal mat initially when I started, but then I just bought a normal one, like a good one, but then I've been using that for years, so I haven't changed it. Yeah, and then where, like most of the times where I go or anywhere else I go to the studios and I teach and I practice on the same mats.
Right. The one they have in the studio.
In the studio,
right.
Yes. Yeah, I don't actually take mine also.
I don't ever, nowadays with this mat I don't ever take them. I think kind of what you earlier about minimalistic. I get it that people enjoy their own mat because it doesn't slip. Maybe they're sweating a lot, or they have some kind of attitude where they don't feel comfortable about some other mats that always lay on the floor. But for me, like I don't. need to have one more thing or one more baggage when I'm going to yoga. It's it should be as simple as possible.
Yes.
All these things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And connect with what you were saying earlier. Actually, two things. One is earlier you're saying about different cultures and different philosophy all pointing towards the same thing, which is a source or reminder. I believe we're speaking now in English, and I believe one of the most important message from the Bible is also come down to two words, which is know yourself.
Yes.
And then when you were saying earlier, I wrote down like these quotes from Lao Tzu, who is the author of the Tao. One is that he said, when you realize that nothing is lacking, the whole world belongs to you. And then the other one is when he was saying that other people have so many things. I don't have anything. Other people have goals. I do not. And my mind is so empty that I drift around with the wind like a leaf. That other people have all the plans that myself alone wandering the world. And he said, I was like a fool, like a child, that my mind is so empty. And yeah, it's very incredible, very simple words.
Yeah.
Using a lot of reference in the nature. And I believe that's one big thing that's quite different than the writings or teachings from the East versus the West. Right? There's the most well-known transmission from the Buddha, right? He just hold up one flower, right? And then one of his disciple, right? There's like one person who got it.
Yeah.
And he didn't have to speak, right? Imagine,
yeah.
and then the transmission of the Buddha, right? And then just nature, being outside, people are having barefoot, and for me that's incredible. And I also have this theory that there's no proof of that. I believe that actually Kung Fu came from yoga or originated from yoga. Because at that time there's a lot of India and China at the time, or nowadays, because back then there were more kingdoms, but there are a lot of people traveling in between to share the scriptures or share the philosophy, right? So there are a lot of Buddhism used to be huge till this day, still pretty big in China. A lot of the emperors, they are super into Buddhism.
Yeah.
And then a lot of
Taoism also.
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Absolutely. And then there were a lot of these essentially missionaries from India and around that area. They come here and then they translate the scripture. And then apparently this story is like one day, one of this guy, he came to the Shaolin temple. And then realized all the monks they're like fat, and right? They're just meditating all day or something, and then he gave them those Shaolin and the monks the scripture, but also he started teaching them these essential practices. Essentially, is yoga, and I think those scriptures are along the line, were connected with the Diamond Sutra. Right? And then around that time, and then being really infused in Shaolin, and Shaolin till this day is one of the most well known for their Kung Fu, and Taoism. They have their own not only philosophy, but a lot of also people use that philosophy into kind of a physical practice like Tai Chi, like some other things, and
Qigong? No.
Qigong is one of them. Tai Chi is also one of them. Is really so much about the using space, using the space, using the force. It's a lot about like if somebody running at you, you don't need to use the force against them, but maybe you just take their hand and then exactly, and then they will like it's a lot about that, and
not about resisting,
but allowing, and which is even interesting to the name judo as well. Judo is writing in Chinese is actually means the soft or the gentle way, right?
Okay.
Even it's a type of kung fu or physical practice, but literally when it's writing in Chinese, it's the soft way. It's not like it's yeah. So all these
It's more like play.
yeah.
Soft play.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So these are very interesting. It's huge difference. The difference between is like heaven and earth compared to like I don't know, jiu-jitsu or Brazilian jiu-jitsu or like MMA these days are very, you know.
Boxing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and these are the interesting things. But
Yeah. I when you spoke about Lao Tzu and he like when you the sentence or the what he said about connecting about nature, like the leaf movement of the leaf or like water. I remembered um, like we bumped into each other in the park one day, and you asked me the book that I was reading.
Yeah.
It's called I Am That.
yeah.
It's by this saint like called Nisargadatta Maharaj. The book is called I Am That, and he always says like, again, this book is more of like conversations who come to him, like people who come to him and he speaks to them, and the conversation is between the people who come to him and him. He was a more forthcoming like guy, and he was like straight to the point, like, you know, direct up with his answer. So what he said was, he believed in his master, in his guru, and he just followed what his master said, and he was able to realize himself, and like and then he has been living as a realized person for since then after his and now he's not he's not alive anymore.
Mahasamadhi.
Yes, Mahasamadhi.
Yes.
Yeah. So he says like most of the times when people come to him, and he says that you exist or you think in a different world, and I don't live in a world. My world is different. I am the world. So like how you said, like the first one as well with the Lao Tzu, like everything is your world.
Nothing is lacking. The whole world belongs to you.
Yeah, the whole world belongs to you. So like it's very similar to what he said, and what he said as well, where you exist in the world, and you think about the things that are in the world and everything else, and the worries and like the things and like the thoughts and like experiences, and you want this, you desires, but I don't live in the world. I am the world, and all of the things are not in. They do not exist in my world at all, and it's a very different way of putting how, you know,
It's like
a
mind fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, one of these, hold that thought, please.
Yeah.
One of there are many great quotes from the Bible and from Christ. I think he said this. The Christ himself, he told his disciple and the people, he said, walk in the world, but not be of the world. It's
Again,
pretty much the same.
Yeah,
it's like,
yes.
wow.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, incredible. Incredible.
Yeah. I mean, religion was set out to do something else, and it turned out to be something else, I feel.
Because perhaps the people run them, they have their own
agenda,
and then they inject those doctrine and dogma into it for mind control, and there's this quote, I forgot who said that, it says power corrupts and absolute power absolutely corrupts people.
Yes. Yeah, it does.
If you're in the 16th 17th century, you're the Pope, it's inevitable. It's very hard for yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Like I I don't know if I read this or saw this or like heard this in a podcast. Um, like I listened, maybe I think I remember it was by this podcast, like this Swami Sarva Priyananda. He teaches Advaita Vedanta. Uh, he said like religion was established um, to bring about like fear or like um, an order in human beings, but it's not fear, it's like order in human beings. But later, whoever was in control or power, they started making, like they started misusing this power and started creating fear in the people. So instead of bringing that order of higher self and or understanding the higher self and knowing about your own self, it became more of indulging or like people manipulating people into fear and like and blind faith into religion, and like you have to follow this and you otherwise you're going to hell, or like you're going to be sinful and stuff. So instead of like it just moved away from being a higher power order to creating fear and chaos in people's minds and lives. So yeah, I love his talks and lectures. He goes to like New York, he goes to different places like all over the world, um, and he speaks just mainly about Advaita Vedanta, which means non-duality, which is the literal translation nowadays. But Advaita Vedanta is like the end of the Upanishads. Vedanta is like a text or like conclusions of all the different chapters of Upanishads, like a summary of the whole Upanishads. So Upanishads is one of the ancient, like
Sacred text.
philosophical and like spiritual texts, and they are more like combinations of different hierarchies or like types of philosophies, and they're all combined in Upanishads. But then in Vedanta, it's all the conclusions of what the different philosophies and like they all have come together and they've made like the Vedanta is with that. So there is Dvaita Vedanta, there is Advaita Vedanta also. So both of them again is leading to the same, to the source. But Advaita actually gives a lot more easier and maybe not easier, but a clear and crisp and precise pointing towards the answer to who am I. I mean, if you ever get the chance, like if you're interested, you can always read or like listen to this podcast. It's called Vedanta Talks on Spotify, and it's all about this. Yes, and Sarva Priyananda, he's a monk from the order Ramakrishna. If you have heard Ramakrishna, he was also a saint or a yogi who was into bhakti yoga and devotion, like just complete devotion.
Does he do kirtan or
no
other?
It's devotion, just surrender, like nothing, everything, just surrender. Devotion to, yeah. He did love songs, kirtans, like bhajans, and staying at the ghat, like the river banks of
Yeah,
the Ganga.
Maha Mantra.
Maha mantra, yes, yes, all the mantras, yes.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So this Ram Krishna, there's this one um, one incident. So he had throat cancer, if I'm not wrong, um, and um, he was like lying down in his bed in one of his ashrams in India, near Bengal, in near Kolkata, a little away from Kolkata in Dakshineshwar. And one of his disciples, he comes to visit him, to see how he is, and he asks, like, how are you? Like, and then the Ramakrishna, he says, oh, I'm in so much pain. I'm not able to swallow food, and my chest hurts, my throat hurts. I can't move my body. I'm just have to be lying down, and it's just so painful. But the disciple says, "Ah, but you look in complete bliss." And Ramakrishna says, "Oh, you found me out, rascal." Like, even though he was in full pain physically, and with the body dying and deteriorating day by day with the cancer, his energy and his was like complete bliss. Like, nobody could ever say that he was suffering or sick,
Right.
or but like, he was lying down in on the bed, like he was not able to move, but he had a smile on his face always, like, and small. Like, he did after he died, his great disciple, Swami Vivekananda. I mean, you must have heard about Swami Vivekananda. So he, instead of following the same path as Bhakti Yoga, which his guru Ramakrishna started, Vivekananda went on to teach Gnana Yoga, which is wisdom. He loved, and Karma Yoga. So Karma Yoga is more of like self-service, yes.
Right.
So he didn't take forward what his guru, or like his teacher taught him, but he took forward like the different path, but he still followed his guru's teachings. And Vivekananda, he made like different centers in like different parts of India, and then he started traveling out of India to New York and like Manhattan, and like to different parts of like US, and then he brought most of the wisdom and the knowledge and the karma service part of it to the West. So how like different cultures and paths even this teacher and the student can take is even if they are different, you go towards and lead towards the same source, like we spoke like earlier. So it does not matter if the teacher teaches you like the asana part, or like the different physical parts, or the
Hatha,
knowledge,
Vinyasa,
Ashtanga. It does not matter, like which you take forward as a personal practice and personal experience, and which benefits you, and you have found like benefits out of it, and you have found that you have progressed as a being, grown as a being. You take that forward instead of just I mean, it's
Following
okay to,
the path that the world believed that it was right for you blindly,
yes,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Because we have that wisdom within ourselves. And I think,
yes,
and by my bed, there's another book, which is the Gita.
Bhagavad Gita, yes,
Yes.
yes.
And I believe, I'm paraphrasing the quote, I believe Krishna said to Arjuna that it's, quote, that blew my mind. I talk to people all the time about this. Krishna said that it's better to walk your own path. Even it is you're walking it a little bit shaky, not so well, but it's still better than walking on somebody else's path, doing somebody else's dharma very, very well. And when I read that, my mind is completely fucking blown away.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, wow. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think this is when like Arjuna has like so many doubts.
Because he had to
Fight in the
He's
war against
Yeah.
his own brothers, or like
brothers, uncles, and
family,
family.
uncles. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So like he was in a dilemma. Like he didn't know what he has to do, and yeah. I mean, if the doing is for the right cause and like for the greater good, even if the doing is violent or chaotic or like it's, I mean, which that doesn't mean like we go murder a person, so like we go murder a murderer because he kills somebody else. That does not mean that, but still it's a way, or like it's a method to say that, like you said, like you walk your own path at your own way, with your own struggles, with your own jumps, with your own leaps, instead of grasping from a different person and like copying or duplicating.
Right.
I mean, it's okay to take few bits and pieces of, like, because you learn from each other as well. Like you learn from people, you learn from books, you learn from everything. Like every day is like you learn something new, or like you get to know about something new. And it doesn't mean that you don't have to use that, but also have your own mind and have your own control, or like regulate that, or channelize it maybe better, with your own energy, like, because each one's energy is completely unique and different to like any other. Yeah.
Absolutely. Then maybe some audience out there, when they're listening to this point, they have a question. Then they believe that, oh, Saurabh, what if their path is to getting high and smoking weed, getting stoned? Would that be correct, or what's your take on that? Smoking weed, getting high.
Well, it comes back to the first answer I gave. It's
Yeah.
moderation.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, there's a difference between use and abuse.
Right.
So that's very much, very important, because we use the information that we have, and according to that information we gain knowledge of our own self. So say for example, we are speaking now, and maybe somebody else listens to this and they get the information about this book, or like this concept, or like Wu Wei, or like whatever the concept is. Like they get that information, and instead of using that for their benefit, they start abusing it, maybe like abusing it in different ways to manipulate others, or manipulate your own self, and thinking and spiraling into yourself, stating that this is the ultimate, or like nothing can be broken, or like I know everything, or like all like those things, because with like weed or like any other substance, like even mushrooms, like I have taken mushrooms like a few times, and also it's a lot more into gaining perspective.
It's like a tool.
It's a tool, exactly. Like you use WhatsApp to message friends, or like, you know, send a message or receive a message only. It's not like you use WhatsApp for you know, like sharing photos. I mean, like, I mean, you do that, yes, like you share photos with somebody else. It's not like you write a book on WhatsApp, or you record you record a podcast on WhatsApp,
or your entire life is becomes that
yes,
that tool,
yes,
right?
yeah,
Like indulge or abuse into that.
yeah. There's a, I mean, it's very much related to anything, this concept called vairagya. It means non-attachment or detachment. Whatever you use, or whatever you receive, say for example, you smoke weed, you maybe get stoned and you get high and you just chill and relax and have a good time, and then you get attached to that time, and you start doing it more and more and more and more and more. So that attachment to that expectation, so attachment towards that expectation of the feeling of highness. Yeah. So if you're attached to that feeling of highness, it does not serve the purpose, because you're not using it as a tool. You start abusing it, and it becomes
consume you and your life.
You I mean, it starts controlling you, like just like your thoughts, or just like the food, or like, you know, binge eating or binge watching or whatever it is. But if you moderately use it, and in like right quantities and at the right times, when like say, if you for the whole day you do your normal routine, maybe just in the evening, like maybe if you want to have like 1 hour of, or like 2 hours, or whatever time you have to rest, and like, you know, regroup yourself, and like not have not have so much of chaos, or you know, sound, or like, you know, but you want, I mean, people do different things to do that, like, so
some people take a long bath.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people
go for a walk.
Yes, absolutely. Look at
some
the
people
candle.
listen to music.
Yeah, and some people smoke a joint before.
Yeah,
they go to sleep.
yeah.
And in Spanish, there is, I forgot what's it called, but Spanish, there's a specific word, I think Italian as well, for the last word, the joint they smoke before they go to bed.
Ah, okay.
It's called dormida or something like that.
Ah, okay.
Because dormir means sleep.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, or even if like you may start the day as well, or have maybe just but it doesn't have to continue, like it shouldn't continue. Oh, wake and bake, or maybe one more, or then one more, or like, you know.
Check this out. I know some people. I know this girl, she told me, when she told me my mind was blown, she told me she smokes about 7 grams a day
What?
in the past. It's like 100 bong hits a day
Wow. Okay,
for
that's
like
crazy.
years.
Crazy.
I was
No.
like, how is that possible? And I was joking. It's like, oh, you have the iron lung, and then, but she was like, oh, actually, no, not really. Your lung literally like. She was telling me that her lungs was literally about to collapse, and it was so bad, and really took a break and a long time for her to like even have normal kind of cardio again. But
Yeah, I make sure I take those breaks too, like maybe a week or 2 weeks, or maybe 1 month, like depends.
yeah,
It hasn't been anything set. Like, again, I'm not expecting myself to, stick to an actual
rigid.
Yeah, rigid. It's not rigid. It's more flexible. But yeah, it's a great tool, yes, because I mean it comes from like nature, like
The earth.
it comes from nature. So it can't be bad.
Yeah.
I mean, but yeah, tobacco maybe, yes.
Yeah. So when you smoke pure green or
A little bit of tobacco, yes.
added the flavor. I'll give it a little
Yeah,
kick.
otherwise it kind of doesn't burn properly and it keeps getting off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
also
it's quite hard and and strong without.
Yeah.
So
True.
yeah. Yeah, but it like psychedelics has been quite interesting for me. And then when I was
When was the first time that you ever tried psychedelic? How old were you? Was the occasion?
I just hope my parents don't listen to this, but it's okay. It has been a long time overdue.
The truth will set you free.
No, I know. Yeah, I mean, I've always wanted to say or like tell them about whatever like the experience I have, because it's not like I have never. It's not like I've OD'd or like done anything extravagant and like gone off and and it's always been moderated and like balanced, and I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then it's been a conscious activity or like a tool that I've used it because I got into it because I got into yoga.
Nice.
I mean, I started meditating initially when I was starting to meditate. Like I used to sit for half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours sometimes. Depends on how much time I had. But I started with 5 minutes. That's how I got into yoga and spirituality. But when I was meditating and I used to have these kind of visions naturally, and I mean they were all like different kinds of visions, like visuals, like colors and like patterns. Different. They're all different. Like sometimes white, orange, yellow, green, like trees, like blue sea, more related
Purple
to
haze.
anything, whatever it is. But those patterns, like they gave me, like I started researching into like what patterns and like what are like fractals. Like I got to know something about fractals, and I mean I don't know how I got into it, but I love reading and like researching papers and like theory stuff. So I was reading about it, and then like my friends and we like whenever we did like acid or like mushrooms, like I would just sit and like meditate, like do nothing else, like maybe sometimes get up and dance for the music, and but I used to just sit and meditate, or like I used to be in like a headstand position.
Wow.
Yeah.
For how long?
I was like 10 minutes, 20 minutes.
Wow.
Like,
Wow.
I don't know. Like the first time I did mushrooms, I was like half an hour. I was on my head. and
Wow.
it was in like Kodaikanal, in one of the southern parts of India in Tamil Nadu near Chennai, and um, it's very popular for mushrooms, like organic, pure, bullet, like powerful mushrooms, and uh, yeah, like it was like so cold and like misty and foggy, and like, and I was upside down, like, and I was seeing the whole mountains like this, like we were in a valley, and you start seeing, and like, or like the details of like particles of your hand, or like of the soil, or like the plants, and like the veins of the plants through the sunlight.
Yeah.
Like all those details are like very enhanced, like sensory experiences are very enhanced. But this also connects with natural being as well. Sometimes you meditate, like when you meditate, or when you do pranayama, or like bhastrika or kapalabhati pranayama, it and you open your eyes, like you feel a little gentle lightness within. You also feel like you can focus on one thing a little bit more than the other, like how when you take a photo in like a professional camera, you can defocus and focus.
Yeah.
You can, I mean, it like the sensory um, receptors,
Yeah.
like they become so active and highly,
Absolutely.
yeah, like, you know, like it's,
Yeah, I believe they're always there, those
yes.
element or spheres of energy. It's just when we are in certain states, whether with the tools or without, that we'll be able to access them.
Exactly. Yes, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
So with breath, like breath is one of the most underrated drug.
Totally.
So yes, I mean, you can do so much with the breath, and because it's the life energy, life force energy, that's why it's called prana, which means life force energy.
Yeah.
And this prana comes in different elements, aspects, and there are like so many different types of pranas. Even your digestive system has a prana, your respiratory system has a prana,
Right.
your circulatory system has a prana, your so there are like 5 major pranas, which is samana prana, which is for the digestive system. That's the same word, which is this one, samana mudra. The first one, samana mudra, samana prana. And then Vyana prana, which is circulatory, and Udana prana, Apana prana. Apana is the reproductory prana, like, or excretion. Like all the different systems which are in like in scientific or like English systems, like respiratory system, skeletal system, circulatory system, digestive system, excretory system. All the 5 are the major pranas in life force energies. So these are all like involuntary. Like do you actually really know how, or like how the digestive system works? Like, do you like feel it working? Like, can anybody feel, or can anybody know what is happening? No. Like, or can you stop your heart beating at your, or can you stop your lungs? I mean, for a time, for a while, maybe, yes, by using the breath and pranayama techniques or breath work. For a time, yes, but from the time you're born, like as a physical body here now, and until the time of the physical body dies, like it's all automatic. It's all the prana or the life force energy that keeps happening. It's also the circulation. You can definitely control it or maybe do some activities that you can control your circulation, or do some meditation, or like postures, or like exercise, or whatever, for regulating them, but you can't really control them. Like, they're always automatic and natural, and they happen on their own, and it just happens. You don't really do anything. So it's understanding that this prana is within you, and you are that prana. So you are the life force energy, and it comes to the same with like usage of drugs, or like I wouldn't really suggest like all the other drugs like cocaine or MDMA, or like all the different ones, like I don't know, like ketamine or whatever it is.
The lab ones.
Yeah, the
right?
chemical. Yes.
Yeah.
More of fresh and grown, like natural.
Natural, yeah.
And yes.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Because I mean, all these pharmaceuticals are also the same. They all are drugs. They are called drugs, and nowadays people are just getting prescribed like paracetamols or like antibiotics, like so many stuff, like tablets, or like painkillers, and like, you know,
Like it's
antidepressants.
Yeah, like it's nothing.
Yeah,
Candies.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
they're so young when they start taking them
yeah,
too.
I know.
When I went to America, I was mind blown. I was a lot of, even now, the younger generation, a lot of them suffering anxiety. They start taking them 16 or probably even younger.
I used to do like online yoga classes for like 2 kids from New Jersey. Like one person, one guy, like one child, he was like 10 years or 11 years. He had like attention deficit, ADHD, like high. And then initially he didn't have it, but then something happened during something, I don't know like the exact details of what triggered or what happened, but then he had to be put into like activities where he felt more safe with himself. And he had like OCD as well, and he used to just wash his hands every time. He just felt like there are germs everywhere, and like everybody's trying to, you know, harm him. Or I mean, it could be the pressure from the school, or like anything. I don't know what it is, but he was given so much of medication before that. And then like their parents, they were Indians, but then they were like, the medication is not helping and it's getting worse. Like when he's taking the medication, he's okay, but as soon as the medication wears off, it's just the same. Like, or even it gets more chaotic or more worse, like when he's not under medication. So it's like those drugs, like it, as they're like just temporary, like they're not a permanent solution. But yeah, maybe it's a long process to like come back to normal. But it takes a lot of letting go and like releasing of the medications, and like trusting yourself, building yourself into activities. And so I had to speak to him more than actual yoga classes. And I had to understand him, and I had to share of like what I was doing as a kid to cope with some things, or I was or I like some kid friendly yoga philosophies where like cheerfulness, like playfulness, you should have that, you know, quality, and you should have you know, a friendly attitude towards your, you know, people in the class, or people like neighbors like around you. So those are like the friendly, or like the because all of these are like in yoga scriptures also, like they're written like Maitri, Karuna, compassion, Mudita, Upeksha. So all of these is um, written by Patanjali, which was like in the 3rd century. So it's yeah, it's very much um, and important even now in this time of like world or lifestyle.
Yeah, internet, constantly connectedness, and it seems like it's always on. It's so intense. It's no stopping, right? And which lead me to this question to you: what are your top 3 poses when it comes to yin yoga?
When it comes to
Yin yoga.
yin yoga,
Yes.
I would say wide child pose.
Right.
Like that's one of the, because it brings the heart rate down.
Right.
It calms the nervous system.
Right.
It also helps to open the hips, and the next one would be Supta Matsyasana, like fish pose, with the bolster. I use that a lot in like as in daily life. I have a bolster in the house, and I just like,
Where do you put it?
I put it and like vertical along the whole spine,
Right.
and just let my head hang
Where-
down, and keep the hands just on the sides.
Perfect.
I either keep my legs in like a butterfly pose sometimes, or just leave it out straight down.
Okay.
And in that posture, sometimes I, because my head is like falling down, like the neck is relaxed, I try to just bring a little attention towards the center of the forehead, like in between the eyebrows. When I do that, I
My third eye.
yeah, I have a purpose, or like I set myself stating or thinking that what I really need to do, and what I really need to or it's more like differentiating or discriminating, or like pointing out really that what are your desires, what you really want to do, and what are the things that you want to let go and release. So those are the only 2 things, because when you're lying down in that position, and your chest and heart is open a little bit, like you're free, and it helps you.
You're also supported.
Yes. It brings like an openness to receive whatever you're being offered. So it does not, like, I feel like it does not create any barrier for receiving, because the receiving is about deciding what you really want and what you need to release. Because that receiving is like, it's coming from within, so you receive the answers from within as well. So you're open to receive whatever answer that comes from within. So you hold on to the path, the sadhana, the practice, the abhyasa. You hold on to the knowledge. You hold on to the faith and belief. You let go or release all the struggles you had to face, or the challenges that you had to face, or like jealousies, or like or anger
Yes.
things, um, like
Letting go
even
the
if I'm
Maya.
like, yeah. So that's the second one. I think the third one is also, it's Viparita Karani. I don't know if this is really taught in yoga, but it's quite helpful. It's completely different. So all three are different
Right.
in each way. So Viparit Karani is where you put like a bolster or like a block under your lower back,
Right.
and you lift your legs up and put your legs up on the wall.
Okay.
Or you can just keep the legs up,
Right.
and your lower back is lifted. You can also support it with your hands.
It's like usually what comes after the shoulder stand. Is it that one or is
No,
that
no,
different?
no. Yeah, it's completely different.
Okay. Okay.
It's maybe I can show you on the photo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you maybe if people
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Nice. I'll drop a photo here when
yeah,
I edit
yes,
as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like this.
Oh, okay.
Like you just put
Okay.
up,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
legs up the wall, but with a bolster.
I think I've done something like this in yeah.
You can also see this is without the
Okay,
bolster, so
okay,
you
okay.
do this without with the hands.
Okay, interesting.
So in shoulder stand, you lift the hips up as well,
Yeah.
and your hips are in the same line
Yeah,
as your
yeah.
shoulders, above your shoulders.
Yeah.
But in this, it's more like bridge pose with
Yeah.
the hands below your
Mm-hmm.
hips, but you lift your legs up to the ceiling.
Yeah.
Those are towards the ceiling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like this is,
I feel like I've done something similar in Iyengar.
yeah, you use that with the chair. Yes,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
can
with
do that
some-
with the chair.
yeah.
Yes, it's quite helpful with the chair. A lot more easier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. This helps to circulate the blood, because most of the time we sit or we stand,
Absolutely.
so the legs go up. I mean, it's quite similar to the same benefits or like purpose of like Shirshasana,
Yeah.
like the headstand or the shoulder stand.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Most of the inversions, but this is a lot more in the resting, or like rest, like, and also in yin they are connected to like the internal organs, right? And in wide child pose, your hips, thighs are pressing into your side of your
Right.
front of the body, and they are going towards your spleen and your
Yeah.
side organs. And in Matsyasana, your heart and your throat, your thyroid gland. And in Viparita Karani, it is more on circulation, and also the thyroid gland. Yeah, but
Right.
it's more on for like circulation.
Right.
The Dhyana prana is
Yeah.
more like the circulatory system.
Right. I have a question.
Yes.
You mentioned about the wild child pose. Like, not sure if I just been playing basketball for half of my life or something. These days, that I feel like when I'm doing like wild child pose, or if I'm like on my knees a lot, I feel like my left knee is a little bit. There's some tension, and then sometimes it hurts. So what would you advise me or maybe other people out there that they're into yoga, they realize it's part of their life, but they have like particularly knee pain from playing basketball or jumping a lot, and what would you advise them to carry on the practice or be aware of on the day-to-day life or recovery even?
I think climbing stairs is really helpful.
Okay.
Climbing and going down, really helpful. One best posture for knees
Right.
is Pavana Muktasana, knee to chest pose.
Okay.
So you can keep changing one leg at a time, bring both legs together, one leg at a time, like knee to chest poses. When there is like the knee joint is 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 one of the most unique joints actually.
Right. It's quite complex, right?
Yes, it's very complex, and there are like liquids that flow through the joints, right?
Right.
And the most place, like the most common place where these liquids they get trapped are in the knees. That's why most of the athletes or like sports people they have knee injuries. Badminton, basketball, volleyball,
Maybe even soccer or something.
yeah, soccer, tennis, because it's a lot of pressure and a lot of exertion or like force, which are used like by jumping, landing.
Especially you're like jumping very very high. And you're training a couple hours. And you're playing super intensely for many hours as well.
Yes.
All the like very full on, intense and non-stop, and then you're walking like a lot, right? And
anything which bends the knee is helpful. So that's why walking with on the stairs, like you always have to bend the knee.
True.
And like in diamond pose, sitting back on your heels.
Right.
Also hero's pose, where you put your ankles outside your hips. Vajrasana and Virasana. Vajrasana is diamond pose. Virasana is hero's pose. So they are again very helpful for, but if it is too painful, like the knee, it's not advised to do Vajrasana or Virasana.
Right.
But if you don't have pain, but and you want to increase the functioning of your knee and like in a normal daily life, it's best to practice this even for a minute or two and Vajrasana, the diamond pose, is the best posture for digestion.
Okay.
So after you eat, if you feel you want to, or even if you are having constipation, if you are sitting in Vajrasana, it helps to release the stool. So it's very helpful for digestion. And we say, right, like when our digestive system or like the gut is healthy, like our body and mind is also healthy, like because the gut is like the second brain. So we keep the digestive system healthy, everything else like runs normally and functions absolutely perfectly. So it's with the knees, it again also with helps in circulation. So Viparita Karani is also good.
Right.
Because it helps to flow the blood flow to come down towards the knee, go towards the hips, and then when you come back down, it goes back. So it helps.
Absolutely. Earlier when you're talking about, I'm super curious about this. I've been told, earlier when you talking about ganja and smoking, I've been told that all the babas in India, they have weed.
Yeah, they do.
Like literally.
Yeah.
And
so there's this thing that happened now, like called Mahakumbh. I don't know if you might have seen it. It's a religious festival, and these Babas, they're from a they're from a particular tradition, or like from a lineage. They're called the Nath Babas, Nath Yogis. They give up everything,
Right.
everything, like literally everything.
Right.
And some of them are completely naked, and they dress themselves by the ashes of the dead bodies. So they apply ash on their whole body, as
Right.
that's how they dress themselves, or like that's how their appearance is. And only they are allowed and are legal for them to smoke weed in India, but everybody else, it's not, it's illegal.
Right.
But you can consume marijuana in India, in the north, in a form called bhang. It's again a long, like an ancient tradition of
Right.
making like milk.
Yeah.
They make a paste with the plant,
Right.
and they mix it, and they have a process for it.
Right.
I don't know exactly what
Is it
they
sweet?
do. Sorry?
Is it
Yeah.
sweet or kind of
It
tastes like
depends.
medicine?
Yeah.
Okay.
It depends.
Yeah.
I mean, you can
when people
also
drink it, it's like weed bubble tea without
Kind
the
of.
sweetness, and it gets you
Yes.
super high.
Yes, you won't realize it until like half an hour, but then after half an hour, you mostly go to sleep.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like, or 45 minutes, and then you're like conked out. Like, I mean, I haven't tried a lot. I just had one sip once. That's it. But I haven't had it. But yeah, it's just how it is in legal in India. But yeah, these babas, or like these yogis, they it's it's um it's a way of devotion or surrendering to Shiva. So Shiva was the first yogi. That's why he's called Adi Yogi. Adi is the first yogi.
Okay.
So he is the first yogi of, like, from
Yeah.
So
He's the OG.
yes, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, he, like, there are different forms of Shiva, and
Absolutely.
one of his forms is like an aghori, like that's why they, like the Babas, they dedicate themselves to this form of Shiva, where they put dead person's ashes on their body, like they just smear it like all over there.
Do they shower?
No, nothing. They don't. They just take a dip in the lake, in the river, and for days they're just like that, and maybe again they take a dip, like for days or months. I don't know. Yeah.
Wow.
It's quite interesting, their lives, like, and you'll find people who are like great engineers and scientists who have taken up these paths and become yogi.
Renunciates.
Yeah,
from
yeah.
The world completely.
Yeah. And they just have like the Indian pipe. They don't smoke with in anything else. So they have the Indian pipe.
Is this the
Chilam.
Chilam,
yeah.
Okay. That's what Shiva used to smoke.
Yes.
Apparently.
Yes.
Yeah. How did Shiva got into smoking?
Oh, it's available in the nature, and
Right.
so like it's like nature is Shiva, so
True.
there's no separation from Shiva and nature.
Absolutely.
So I mean, Shiva and Shakti. Shakti is Prakriti, nature.
Yeah.
Shiva is Purush. So that's how it is in Sanskrit and yogic terms.
Yeah.
So Purush and Shakti. Only when they combine, it becomes the world.
Right.
And in this world there are like illusions, and all of it is illusion or appearances.
Yeah.
The only thing that is real is Shiva and Shakti. Only thing that is real is the self, the divine energy, love, bliss.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's quite interesting. Like now,
Totally.
um, actually being in India and being like in the youth, like being a younger generation, like in teenage, and like, and if you know about Shiva, and you know that, you know, Shiva used to smoke weed or like ganja, and then everybody like is like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
it's not bad, it's not bad. But then
Yeah.
like people like it's illegal in India, but I mean,
Do they get into trouble?
yeah, you can be sent to jail.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, even for possession, you can be sent to jail. Yeah. Yeah, it's bad.
Yeah. So yeah, so Baba has ganja, then how about Nam Karoli Baba? Does he used to have weed with him?
Maybe, I think so, because
Or he's more like a different type of Baba.
all of these are like habits. The book that I was telling you about, I Am That, Nisargadatta Maharaj.
Yeah.
Like when people used to go to him and ask, like what are, like what do you do the whole day? Like what are your activities? Like
Yeah.
what is your routine? He says like, oh, people just come to me. They want to know about themselves, and I just speak my mind. But when they're not here, I go for a smoke. Like he doesn't say what he smokes, but he says I go for a smoke, and I read and I just sit. But most of the time it's just like the habit of just going for a smoke. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, there are people who don't really do anything as well. Like
A lot, and probably a lot. Right?
yeah, a lot. Yes.
Yeah.
Ram Krishna Paramahamsa. No, I don't think so. Or
Paramahansa Yogananda?
no, Paramahamsa Yogananda. No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah.
Ram Krishna, the guru of Swami Vivekananda, I think yes, because that's how he got throat cancer. I'm not sure, but
Makes sense.
yeah, and yeah, like it's like with the habit, like, you know, you can't. Some habits are for the body. It's not for the higher spiritual or the higher self.
Right.
Like these habits, like you can continue or not continue it. I mean, it does not matter. Like it's so. There's this great example of in Advaita Vedanta, where like I just love to share this example.
Please.
Whenever whenever there is like a doubt, or whenever there is like a confusion of what you need to do, or like
Right.
but it's quite difficult to grasp, but if you grasp it, it's very helpful. Say for example, like this is a there's a pot here, so this is a pot which is made of clay.
Right.
A pot made of clay.
Yeah.
But like there is no plant or there is nothing here. But if you really closely look into this, can you tell me, or can you find a pot here? What is a pot? Any guess? What is like any pot here? I would say this is just clay.
Yeah.
So the clay is a material.
But when it's formed like this, what's inside the emptiness? It's like
Okay.
make the pot. Like
Okay.
I'm saying this coming from
Yeah.
again the Taoism. It says like you build a house, but it's what's inside that makes the house, right? And you build a wheel for a bicycle or for a car, but inside in the middle, that's where it moves, kind of connect the whole point and make it a thing. Yeah, it's
But what is the but what is the house made up of?
materials.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
like
what?
brick, wood,
Yes.
clay.
But where is the house?
Like
Inside? Outside? Inside the materials?
inside of materials.
Inside the materials. What materials?
Like when the other materials connecting together.
Okay. So say brick and cement,
Yeah,
they connect.
yeah.
So brick. What is a brick? So it's just,
Yeah.
I mean, a brick which is molded.
Yeah.
So for like we come back to the pot.
Absolutely.
You see the clay
Yeah.
and you see the pot. You know that it is made of clay and it is in this form.
Yeah.
And we have named this form as pot,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And we see that there are bricks, there are cement, and there's a structure, and we have named that structure or a form as house.
Yeah.
But the word house does not actually exist.
Yeah.
Because of those bricks or those cement, we have created like the name or label or form has been created as house.
It's like a tag. It's like a tag.
Exactly.
So that during conversation we can talk about it. And
Exactly.
you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yes, yes.
Say, I'm going to buy a pot for
Yes, for a plant.
Yeah,
Or like
yeah.
I'm going to buy a mug. It can be a steel mug, it can be a
Yeah.
clay mug, it can be a plastic mug.
Yeah.
But that mug is made up, or this pot is made up of clay. Nothing other than clay. So there is no pot here at all. So now for us, we have created the identity of I. There is no I. Even though we say I am that,
Yeah.
there is no I. Everything is the same. So we are the clay, we are the wood, we are so this habit comes from the form. So the form is the body. The body has this habit of maybe smoking, maybe eating, maybe watching, or maybe running, and we have given this body the form, a habit, an activity to do. But really, the activity or the habit that is created for the body, does that have any relevance to the self or the higher self? No, because it is just related to the body. But this body is not yourself. You can see your body, you can feel your body, you can touch your body, you can smell your body, you can hear your body. But the real self, you can't see, you can't smell, you can't touch, you can't.
Yeah.
So, whatever habit you cultivate yourself with does not have any relation to how your real self is. It's the habit that is created is for the body. say for example, for many years, like we have been taught in school to brush the teeth in the morning and have a shower in the morning and like dress up to go to work or like go to school or go like have like, but all of those are like taught and they become a habit. And again, with something else like drinking or smoking, it is a habit for the body, but the real self, it does not need anything. Like, do you think, or like, do we think that the prana, the energy, life force energy, wants you to brush your teeth every day? So like, oh, your stomach would not be asking you to brush your teeth. Like, oh, it doesn't care. Like, it does its own job at every time. And the heart or like the lungs, it does not ask you to take a shower. Like, the water even does not reach the heart or like the lungs. You can't wash your lungs or heart.
Yeah.
And like it's very similar to that. So this concept is, as I told, it can be a little tricky to understand, but once you understand or you get the point of where we have given a form or or a label or a tag, like of pot or mug or a mobile phone, but this mobile phone is made up of like metal, made up of plastic.
Yes.
But you keep cutting down, it's just metal and plastic again.
Yes.
But you can't find like a mobile phone. It's a name, like an invisible. It's not invisible, but I mean, it's an extra word that we have created and
When
made
they
that
are-
word as
when they're being putting together in a
yes,
type of way that fulfill a functionality.
correct.
And then especially being produced or being positioned to a certain value and being placed on the market.
Correct. Yeah.
And reminds me of this quote I really love, is that it says that when we're growing up, we all used to be a child once. And then this happened to every single one of us, which is like, as we're getting into the Maya, which is like, Maya means like illusion of the self or the illusion or magic. It says that when the child learned what a tree is, the child will never see a tree ever again.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, because exactly like what you're saying, then every time this child, he or she sees that.
It's not a tree. Yeah.
Yeah, well, not see it, the tree, as true essence, because trees like people, every single one of them is different, right? But they will see that, oh, the palm tree is a tree, or the other type of tree is a tree, right? He or she just immediately put it as a label, then go on to his or her day, because the day has more things, more agenda, more responsibilities, and all those things going on. And reminds me what you just said. Yeah.
That's quite interesting. I don't think I'll be seeing trees as trees anymore.
Yeah. It's
True.
Yeah.
Because I actually love trees. Like I love watching them.
Do you climb them too?
Yeah. I go to Citadel Park sometimes and I just do a little climb and then come back down. Just sit there, like look from there, like watch like ants on the trees. And like see birds sitting on the trees. And like I love listening to the birds. So they're really nice. I love watching birds.
I like to go there and feed a dog sometimes.
Feed them?
Feed the ducks.
Ah, okay.
They have a little lake.
And then the lake, in the pond,
I don't think bread is that healthy to them at all.
I think it's better to like seeds.
Yeah, that's much better. The thing is,
any seed.
the thing is, because they're in the water, so if I throw, the sea is gonna
Yeah, they
fall
sink down,
right
yeah.
away, and then the bread still
Can't
floats
see.
a little bit, so the sea still see it. Unless a few really courageous one, they come close
Yeah.
to me, cute dogs, and they're like, okay. But yeah,
Mm.
something I do. How did you find out about Nem Karoli Baba?
Hmm. I think it is in one of the books that I was reading early in like 2017, 2018. So this book was called, it was not in the book, but it was about meditation.
Right.
The book is called, the author of the book is Deep Trivedi. The name of the book. It's about meditation. The word meditation is there. I'm just not remembering the exact name of the book, but
No worries.
he introduced a little bit of about the Babas from the north. He shared a story, I think, in the book about his experience of meeting one of the Babas. And then I was like, oh, who are these Babas?
Right. Yeah.
Like, who are these like spiritual masters? Like, who are sharing these kind of stories, like which are enlightening people and like, you know, and giving a different higher perspective, or like creating a better universe within ourselves, like those kind of sharings and like so I just googled like different like Babas in India.
Babas from the north.
Babas from the North India. And then there were a few interesting names, and then I just clicked onto so I already knew about Paramahamsa Yogananda and his master Yukteswar Giri. And it was around the same time, I think, Neem Karoli Baba and his master. So they like I was when I was reading about Yukteswar Giri and his, there was this very small book that I had in Bangalore, which were just his quotes, like his major quotes, like a small booklet. And then
I have seen it.
And then in the end, it said, or it had like a whole conversation of him and Neem Karoli Baba.
Oh wow.
Then that's how I was like, oh, okay, this is an interesting other person. And it's so Neem is eucalyptus in Hindi. Karoli is it's I don't know how to translate it, but it's very like, it's like eucalyptus. I don't know how to translate it, but it's like very similar to like a benefits of like eucalyptus tree. I mean, that's what neem is like. I don't know how he got his name also though, but it's a very funny and interesting name, I feel. I just like Neem Karoli Baba. It sounds funny to me. It sounded funny to me initially when I read it. So I was like, okay, I'll read more and find out more. I researched a little bit more, studied a little bit more. I don't think I have read any of his, I don't know if he's written books. No, I don't think so.
That's all I've seen are the stories that his devotees talks about him.
Exactly.
Because so far from the story, it seems like he's a person that never take himself seriously, and he doesn't give a zero fuck about any of these books or quotes or things. Right? He just help people gel. When people come, tell them to go. feed them.
No, he was a very funny man.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
had like very good sense of humor. That's what I've also read and like seen about. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah, it's very interesting.
yeah. Also,
Such a happy man.
yeah, totally it seems.
Yeah.
And then his devotee, one of the most notorious one is Ramdas,
Ramdas, yeah.
and then he's extremely popular
Yes.
around after the hippie movement in America. And he used to be a professor at Harvard actually.
Yeah.
And then he got kicked out, and then he went to India. And one thing led to another. He met Neem Karoli Baba, and he wrote the book Be Here Now.
Yeah.
And it got super popular in America at the time.
Yeah.
And Steve Jobs, I have this biography here, just finished it. He was in university and he was dropping out, quitting university. And he's sleeping on the floor in the dorm of his friends. And his friend had this book.
Wow.
Of Be Here Now, and he read this. And at that time, Steve Jobs he went to a very hippie school also at the time as well, long hair.
Yeah.
They were like smoking weed, dropping acid all the time.
Yeah.
And he was sleeping on his friend's floor. He read this, and then pretty much a few months after he went to India, he was there for 6 months. And he traveled, I think he wanted to see the Baba, but Baba already passed away. But he went to the ashram that we talked about. Yeah, in Kanchi, I think. And then
Kenchidam.
yeah,
That's the name. Yes, Kenchidam.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. So he went to, I believe in the biography it didn't exactly talk about it, but he went to Kanchi and he came back. One thing led to another, started Apple, and there's this very notorious famous, when the Apple already went public, he was like 26 or 28 years old, multi-millionaire. He bought this gigantic house. Kind of looks like here. It has some kind of Spanish arcs. And then, but he's so minimalistic. He has no furniture inside the house. He just have cushions and a CD, a vinyl player, and a Tiffany lamp. Because he was so
Simple.
Yeah, so simple, and he loves like beautiful things, and he really doesn't need a lot. Doesn't even have chair, no furniture at all, right? And then there's no pictures of that, but it says that in that paragraph, it says that in his bedroom there's, I think he didn't have a bed. He has like a mattress and 2 posters, and one of them is either Bob Dylan or Albert Einstein, and then the other one is Neem Karoli Baba in his bedroom. Yeah. So and then that leads to where he lives for a long time in San Francisco. There's a lot of books, that he read or he found interesting or become very, very popular in those bookstores in San Francisco. And my friend mentioned to me he bought his first copy of autobiography of a yogi not too far away from where Steve Jobs used to live.
Okay.
And then become wide popular of Paramahansa Yogananda, autobiography of Yogi, Be Here Now as well. And this lineage, and it's quite interesting story here. Yeah. Do you have a guru? Or
Not particularly, no.
what's your take on
But
the concepts?
But I hugely follow the person I was telling you about earlier, Swami Sarva Priyananda, about the Vedanta talks. So Swami Sarva Priyananda, he explains and shares in a very, very simple and direct method. It's I mean, I feel personally it's more understandable, and also you can practice whatever he says, and I mean, it also is quite difficult with if you don't have any knowledge or information about what Vedanta is, but um, once you know or you start to understand, it's very easy to grasp what he shares. But in particular, like I feel the Paramaguru is like within. So Paramaguru means the greatest,
Right.
greatest guru, who is the self.
Yeah.
And the self is within everything,
Right.
each and everything. So
Even your enemies.
yeah, everything. There is no two. It's only one, whatever it is. Like even if this wood or that is what Vedanta teaches, like Advaita Vedanta. Like there is
Not
no
right. Not this, not that. It's
Yeah.
something neti.
Neti neti.
Neti neti.
Neti neti.
Yeah.
So neti neti is more like not this, not this, not this, not this,
Okay.
not this, not this, not this, not this.
Okay.
So, but tat tvam asi is you are that thou are.
Okay.
You are that. Tat tvam asi is the same. You are that, like you are everything, or I, or you, or this, that. Everything is one. It's just different names and forms and identities that we have given.
Yeah.
And it's only the human mind that can apprehend and comprehend and understand or like make sense of this form or identity or label or tag. That's why the human mind or like the brain is so complex, and like human beings are like such complex beings.
Right.
But that's also a benefit or like an advantage of realizing that you are that and everything, like you are bliss and you are love, and nothing can change that. Even if you don't believe it, it does not change, because within, not just within the body, it's like behind the body, behind the witness, like there is that oneness which is behind the same self of each person, even enemies, person, animals, trees, beings, water, ocean, whatever it is, like the whole planet, universe. So everything is just one, like it's just different forms of it. And the actual meaning of Maya or illusion is the things that you actually see in the world, even the space, even the stars, even the sun, moon, even the table, mobile phone, people, skin, color, eyes, whatever, everything is an illusion, is Maya. It's an appearance. So it's like in Vedanta there's this
It's a concept.
it's like way of explaining. So for example, you go to a cinema, you see a screen, a blank screen. No. So there is the screen. When the projector is like projected and you can see the film, like colors and the picture or like the movie, like it keeps running and it keeps changing. Action scene, like some sad scene or like whatever, like different. But when you turn it off, it's still the same screen. Like there's like you can't change that as a screen. The thing that keeps changing is the movie,
Yeah.
like, right? So this is how it is. Um, this is how it is related, or like
Yeah, actually,
how
exactly in autobiography of
yes,
Yogi,
he uses the
yeah,
screen.
yeah.
He in
talks
some
about,
parts there are very similar. He's very similar to Vedanta.
okay,
Like this the screen is um, the self. The movie is the world that you see,
Right.
or like the things that you see. They keep changing. The body keeps changing from child to youth to adult to old age, and then it dies, and then another body is there, child. So it keeps changing. The breath keeps changing. The mind keeps changing. So all of these are objects. So these are objects which are appearing in the self.
Right.
So the self is creating. So we are the creators. That's what we say, right? Like
Yeah.
we create this world. So we are the world.
Yeah.
We create this world, and we have objects in this world. And the objects are body, mind, breath, things, phone, mobile, like laptop, entertainment,
Yeah.
like sea, swimming,
PlayStation.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, sports, anything.
Basketball.
Yes, basketball.
Yeah.
So they all are like objects, and the screen, the real self, it does not change. It remains the same. So the real self is changeless, is spaceless, is timeless. So you can't really describe that in words. It's I mean, I've never been able to, or like I don't know if anybody has been able to.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah. We have to experience that, just like samadhi. Once you get a taste of that, it's almost like you can never see this Maya in the same way
Yes.
ever again. Which is actually, for me, is such an interesting challenge. It's almost like a dilemma in the past for me to do this podcast, because of want to build this huge platform to point people towards the truth, if you will, or the divine, the bliss, the union. However, using words, it can only, like it's like a GPS,
Yeah.
more or less, right? But
Direct you,
even
yeah.
you see it, but does not mean that you can click on the map and then suddenly you're being teleported there.
Samadhi,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right. And but yeah, that's why I think it's interesting. So I think the bottom line is that we all encourage people we will really love and appreciate people to go experience meditation or yoga or read spiritual texts or listen to this podcast a few times and like internalize those things.
Yes. Yeah, everything comes from within.
Yeah.
So as like we are the creators of, so we have the whole 5 elements within us, and the whole world is also made of 5 elements.
Yeah.
And you create what you want, what you desire. So in the book that I'm reading now, I Am That, he says the greatest sin is not knowing yourself. And the greatest, or the most wrong or false knowledge is knowing others, or like knowing other things. So the greatest knowledge, or the biggest, or like the biggest benefit of knowledge, is knowledge of self.
Yeah.
So
Know thyself.
yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
True.
Awesome.
And speaking about that, last question is that, let's say, assume now, unfortunately, is the end of the world is happening, and there's no more internet. There's like no yoga studio left. However, you have this piece of paper, tiny piece of paper, and a pen, and then you have like 1 minute to write down what you want to leave for the rest of the humanity, or a lesson, or what would you write on this tiny piece of paper? It will only like one sentence, one and a half sentence long.
But if the world is ending, like nobody would need that paper.
There's a few group,
Okay.
Who
Who would survive the? I mean, yeah, this actually comes, like, it reminds me of this Netflix show that I was watching. It's called The Apocalypse. I don't know if where, I mean, this is with, like, he shares all the ancient archaeological sites that have been rediscovered, and shares about the stories of how people who lived there in those areas at that time, and how old they can be, and it can be older than the Ice Age as well.
Right,
and then he says the people who lived here, it's like in different locations, like
the Atlanteans. Maybe did he mention those people?
yeah. Like the what's that place, like the
Where? Atlantis.
Yeah, the Atlantis, the strip, like the
Wow.
which is underground, like in the sea. I forgot the name.
Yeah.
But like he says, like the people who lived in those kind of places, where now it's like people are finding, or like archaeological people are finding those kind of places, they all believed that there would be a catastrophe, or like the world is going to end, and that's why they kind of designed some places as well, like the pyramid, like the pyramids, or even some very ancient temples in India, where you go underground, like in caves, and you can be like they feel like you can survive anything, like in the world, whatever happens. But there will be some catastrophe, or like some natural thingy that happens, and the whole civilization just gets destroyed. But there will be one person or two people, or maybe a little small group that survives, where like that the hero, like emerges, and the hero takes a few people from that civilization, moves and goes to a different place.
Absolutely.
And then or maybe there is like a hero from the sea who comes from somewhere, and helps these people who are in need, and it, like, they change. So the belief, or like the faith that there is like this hero concept, the self concept, like that we are the saviors, or like we are the survivors, or like we are the divine, and like the truth, like we can survive anything. So that is like a very important aspect to develop, and have that complete surrendering of yourself, like towards that higher power, that like there will be something that is going to protect us, or there will be something that is not going to let anything bad happen to us, or where we can go somewhere else, like but coming back to that, maybe I would say hope. That's why I kept my Instagram name as Hope Yogi, because for me hope is a very positive approach. it does not come with an expectation, um, but it comes with um, a belief, and it comes with um,
Faith as well.
yeah, faith, like immense earnestness, like how like
Right.
you're completely confident that everything is good, and everything is going like until now it has been good, and in the future also it will be good, and it's going to continue as good, like have that hope of continuing the same as good. So I feel maybe like keep the hope, or keep the hope up, or like or something on those lines. I'm just trying to think like
Yeah.
exactly.
Maybe just one word. Hope.
Yeah, hope. Yeah, I wrote this. I mean, it's a small thing that I did for my master's in sustainability management and social entrepreneurship.
Right.
I wrote this. So when I was doing this master's, I was also doing my yoga teacher training like simultaneously.
Right. Back home?
Yeah, back in India, in
Nice.
Mumbai. Yeah,
Incredible.
in Mumbai. So I was like doing all my master's like projects related to yoga and
Wow.
related to being a social entrepreneur and taking forward yoga um, as a sustainable, holistic approach of living.
Yes.
So and teach and share and just give away these concepts of
Yes.
life as for anybody and everybody. So hope,
Yeah.
I started it as health opportunities for people everywhere.
Oh, amazing.
So I used to write like my projects and like my theories,
The
or
Hope
like
Initiative.
yeah yeah. I mean,
amazing.
that's how I started with hope. And
Right.
I also have this tattoo here. Like I think you can read
Oh
this.
yes. Oh no.
Yes.
I didn't know Chinese. Yes, that's
Yeah.
it says hope.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Shiwang.
Xiwang.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
my mom teaches Chinese. Used to teach Chinese
Right.
Mandarin earlier.
She speaks Chinese for.
Yeah, yes,
Incredible.
she does. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, but now she's not teaching anymore. But like, yeah, I asked her like to write the characters, and then
Proper.
did the.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I think
Wow.
yeah, hope is. It feels or like means a lot to
Yeah,
me.
and we're going to finish up with that. Thank you so
Yes.
much for being so gracious with your time.
Thank you. I hope I have been. I mean, I am grateful to be here, and I'm honored to be sharing and connecting, and being open to new opportunities to share. And I'm just grateful that there are like so many listeners that who can be listening, and I hope, again, I hope I hope that it just helps you being you, and then rekindles that cheerful and playful energy of like being divine and being love from within. Yeah,
Absolutely. And
yeah,
it's so incredible because it's such a journey. I'm taking this full of page full of notes now. And one thing you said earlier about how human brain is so complex, and is that I believe human is the only animal or only living consciousness that we are capable of hope.
yeah, yes,
And then there's something unique and unfathomable about if we have something, have ability, then there must be a reason that we have this.
yes,
Right. So I'm very hopeful for the future of humanity, for listeners, and
me too.
and for you and your journey out here in Barcelona, and
Thank you.
and the world. Thank you all so much for listening. Thank you for being here.
Thank you all for listening. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.